Are we live? Oh, what have I done here? Hi Cam, how we doing, mate? Vinci should be along shortly, and Apollo is at work for a little bit longer than he should be. So welcome everybody to Arsenal 101 with the live watch along of England versus Denmark, second game in the Euros. England start with an unchanged lineup, and Denmark already have the first shot of the game inside 30 seconds. Easy one for Pickford. No danger there. And England give the ball away again, cheaply, and Trent gets nutmegged. See, this is what I was saying about his defensive capabilities. It leaves a lot to be desired. Hi there, 18. Thank you very much. The coach going solo for the time being. Hopefully, Vinci will be joining me very shortly.
I'm right here, bro. How you doing?
Oh, Vinci's here. Vinci's in the house. Welcome, Vinci. How you doing, sir?
I'm all good, bro. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Just getting the old pre-match jitters for this game, man. I want England to win.
Jitters?
I'd like England to win well.
Jitters?
Old Saka for Walker. Walker kicked the ground as he crossed the ball.
Are you nervous? No,
not really. I wouldn't say nervous, but the atmosphere in the stadium sounds really good.
Good evening, family in the chat. What's going on, man? Yeah, man. I tried to shape up, man. I'm trying to look younger. Last time I came on the stream, I was looking like a Wolverine. So I kind of try to look a little bit decent. Yeah, it's weird, these tournaments with England. It's like they've got so much talent, and I think because we watch them week in, week out individually for their clubs, we're so invested in them, and we think maybe they could be better than what they actually are. But as a team,
I think that point that you make there, Vince, is spot on, because I think we watch Arsenal all the time, and we see the way that Arteta sets them up and the way the team plays. And I think when you come into the international game, you're expecting to see the same as what you see from like the Arsenals and Man Cities. But in all reality, first of all, I don't think Southgate's that type of manager, because I mean, I was saying in the last stream about the Euro final against Italy, went 1-0 up after sort of like 2 or 3 minutes, and then didn't have another shot on goal. And I was reading some reports this week that was just literally saying exactly the same thing about scoring first and then shutting up shop and trying to hold your lead. So I just want to see England just be a bit more adventurous, you know?
I mean, everyone knows that I'm an Italian. I love everything Italian. And, you know, even when it comes to football, I still wanted Italy to win. But I was cacking myself, because if England played to their potential and used pace, Italy couldn't live with them.
Yeah, I mean, that was the thing. But they stopped after the first goal. We played for like sort of 5-10 minutes and then just stopped and sat back. And against the better teams, you're not going to be able to hold out, or the chances of holding out for 90-odd minutes are slim.
Yeah. And that's where I think the mental game, where you see the Brazilians just believe in their ability and they take it to Europeans and Argentina as well, and that's where they suffer. But England just can't seem to use their strength of pace and take their chances to break down teams, because they've had players that can cause teams problems, but they just don't utilize it when it comes to.
I mean, in the first half against Serbia, I mean, Saka was having the run of the field against his fullback, and then it kind of just stopped. Good footing, Mark Gay, excellent.
I'll tell you one thing. I've just seen something here. Just look at the movement of Bellingham, and you'll see how intelligent his movement is. Whereas you would look and you see the other midfielders, it's almost like a step behind when you have the ball.
I don't know if you caught the last stream, but I was saying to the guys, there was sort of like a lot of chat obviously about Foden didn't really do a lot, and I was saying that it's not the occasion, it's not the team, because you look at Bellingham, you can't say that Bellingham showed that he was truly world class in his performance. He went out there and he decided that he was going to stamp his authority all over the game. That's a world class player.
Yeah.
And Foden, for all his huffing and puffing, was on the pitch for 94 minutes and didn't do a single thing.
I didn't see the game, but what I know of Foden, he requires players around him to move. And if they're not moving, he tends to do ISO football and go down channels that actually are closed.
He had one run, and I think that run came in the 87th minute.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, England are pretty cautious here in the beginning, in the first sort of 6 minutes.
Look at that! You see that movement that Bellingham just did there, and he was upset that a ball didn't come through.
Yeah, that was a great run.
Yeah, it's a great ball.
That's the kind of balls that you've got to try and knock.
Yeah. Because
then that also makes the defence think to themselves, hold on, we've got this ball here. We need to try and defend against that.
Mm. And that's where you look and you think, with our midfield, okay, you think of Italy, Jorginho, you look at Pirlo. Those type of midfielders, they may be slow, but they can pick a pass in the middle of the pitch when a striker's making a ball and get it there.
That's why Trent's in the team, though, Vincey, to be that type of player, because we know that his passing range is good.
Yeah.
But he's got to try and do it more often. Which you see him for Liverpool doing about 5 or 6 a game, but for England he can't do one.
But do you think that's where we may actually suffer from our Arsenal perspective, because Declan doesn't do that in that regard, in that position, and for England, you saw in those situations there, he held on to that ball when that run was made. So in that centre position, you need somebody who's going to be able to unlock that ball over the top.
I think it's got to be set up right, hasn't it? So you don't want Declan on the ball, you want Trent on the ball. So
yeah,
the roles have got to be reversed. So when he makes the run, Trent needs to be on the ball rather than Rice. This is all the stuff that you should be working out on the training ground, set moves. So we know that Bellingham's going to make that run. Can we get Trent on the ball to deliver that ball to where it needs to be?
Yeah, well, you're right, because then otherwise Bellingham wouldn't have made that run because Trent's not on the ball.
Carl Walker is down and he's shaking his head.
So do you think England can go all the way?
No, I don't. I think when they come up against a proper team, I think they'll lose. I think it's just the Southgate factor. Carl Walker's done his ankle there. He ain't carrying on.
No, it's not happening.
Oh, mind you, no, it don't look that bad from that angle. No, I just don't think Southgate's the guy to take us there. I think if we had that type of manager like the Guardiolas or the Artetas or Klopp, I just think that we'd be better equipped. I think Southgate's only really got one way of playing, and against the top teams, I think you can't defend. You've got to have some offense. You can't just rely on one goal to take you there.
I know someone said earlier on that I think Apollo was saying interesting to go with the same lineup. Probably thinks it's best to give it more time to click for the players.
I mean, I can understand why he's played the same team, but then again, there's also a couple of players that didn't really perform. So is it warranted that for them to start again? It's a catch-22 situation. But I mean, Denmark are full of. Oh, go on, Ben.
Do you think Denmark are comfortable with the way how we set up? Because we very just.
Well, Denmark have already had 3 or 4 little scenarios where they've had someone in the little pocket behind our midfield, and they've almost threaded a couple of balls through to Rasmus Højlund.
Yeah. Trent, you could have.
Trent, you've got to go forward there.
Yeah,
that was a little 1-2 with Foden there, and he's gone backwards.
I can't believe this is the first time this year that I'm ahead of Gary.
You must have a dodgy ITV box.
Send it. Oh, lucky. Unlucky. I'll tell you what, Albania looked lively yesterday, didn't they?
Cam, you're 100% right. England have started very, very cagey. Denmark have been in some good positions and they haven't utilised them. But this is what I think in international football, you can't afford to keep giving teams. And Højlund and Gay got lucky there. He was beaten by. The flag's gone up for offside. But he was beaten by the ball, and it was only, I think, he held up on the ground, which is why he was allowed to get back. Rasmus overrun it a little bit. That's not offside. He's onside there. It's a great switch, Trent.
Did anybody watch the under-17s championship?
No.
I tell you what, the Italians, Italy won it, but it's almost like as if they've gone back to Italy in the 90s. They've got some players. They've got some young players.
I mean, there's a young Italian kid who scored about 3 million goals in about 20 games, isn't it?
Yeah. There's
I don't know. I think he's from Juventus or someone like that.
Yeah.
He just scored in Milan. He's just scored a bag full of goals, and it's just ridiculous.
Shoot, must score. Oh, come on, Foden.
See, Foden for City puts that in.
Yeah. Great skill.
Foden for City, it's the back of the net there. But that's where you want Foden affecting the game. But it's also up to him to get involved in the game, right? If he like we just saw him there, he didn't do that at all against Serbia.
I think next season is going to be a season where if he stays fit, he can be a handful for City next year. Because if he takes that role, that De Bruyne, because he carried them last year.
Yeah, he was the driving force behind most of their wins towards the back end of the season. He was scoring every week, creating every week.
And you stop and you think that person in that position scoring the goals that he's scoring, that's a lethal weapon. Go on, Saka. Don't be scared.
How's that not a foul? Are you kidding? How's that not a foul on Saka?
Yeah, it just annoyed me because he was, for me, he was favoured to get the ball.
Yeah, I think if Trent doesn't perform in this game, Cam, I think that will be the last we see of him in the midfield. But the only thing is, I mean, who would you give the nod to, Vincey? But Manu, or whatever you call him?
I would have Manu because again, it's pace. In England, you can plod, and it's shown that other teams that will plod against you, and you make a mistake and you lose 1-0. England have to play with pace in the right areas, and it's not disrespectful for me to say that I think they're showing Denmark too much respect.
Well, that's just Southgate. It's the cautious nature.
Yeah.
So they've been sent out to be tight and not give anything away. So they sacrifice the offensive side of the game to be tight at the back.
Yeah. Because even when I watched the French game, I was looking and thinking, it's almost like it was playground football that Deschamps was getting those guys to play. I've never seen France take so much chances in all positions of the pitch. They looked sloppy, but they were going for it.
I think it's just the confidence in your team, isn't it? You got confidence. Send them out there to play. I mean, we know that this England team can play. We know the players that are in it. They can play. But if you're shackling them and they're all, holding positions and they're not getting forward, then you're taking away what essentially that some of the players are there to do.
Yeah. So Apollo says Jamaicans, gone Kane, unlucky. And Jamaicans play on a better pitch than this.
I think there's been a lot of rain in Germany, hasn't there?
Yeah, which ground is this? Whose ground is this?
I'm not sure. What stadium is this in, Jackson?
Yeah, it's a farm, man. Sometimes it's not good to have a 4K TV when you're watching this.
I wouldn't quite say superb, Cam. Foden done vastly better than he did against Serbia. He's actually touched the ball in the first half, in the opponent's half.
So who would you say, and the guys in the chat, who would you say has been the best team so far? That's
Albania.
Albania. Well, actually, it'll be a golf. It looks like a golf course there. Some serious defense. Send it. Moscow Kane. Moscow Kane. Yeah.
Yes. Kane couldn't miss. But see, that's the attacking intent there.
Yeah.
So you've already proved that the first time you actually get an overlap, you can hurt them. So now you need to do that more often, right? Don't rest on your laurels because we're one up. Go out and attack them because they're vulnerable. Walker's pace is phenomenal. At 33 years of age? Yeah. And he's still blisteringly fast?
Okay, I'm gonna ask a question. This may divide a lot of people. England better with Wayne Rooney or England better with Kane?
That's an hard one, Vincey. I think Kane brings a bit more to Kane brings a lot to the team, but I don't know. I think I'd have to go for Wayne Rooney. I think I just have to shade Wayne Rooney by literally like 0.1%. Because they're both roughly the same player. They can both drop deep. They can both have great passing range. They can both score goals. I think sometimes Kane's a bit too selfish in certain situations when he could play in someone else. He wants to take that shot from a ridiculous angle or a ridiculous distance.
18's gone and says we're better. England were better with Rooney. He does more on.
It's an odd one though because they say they're roughly the same player. They both drop deep. I think Rooney brings you more work rate, doesn't he? Tackles and stuff like that. So maybe he gets the nod just because of that.
But are their goals? They're very close because Kane's very. How far is he behind him?
No, Kane's ahead now.
Kane's ahead of him now.
Yeah, he's been ahead of him for time now. He's almost must be approaching 60 goals for England, Harry Kane.
And that's the crazy thing. That's the crazy stat.
But let's not forget, a lot of them goals have been in meaningless friendlies against such poor teams because he plays every game. It's like I was saying like the other week, when England got the penalty which Cole Palmer scored,
Yeah.
Kane asked to come on the pitch to take it.
Take it. Okay.
From the substitutes bench.
And that's what Cam's saying here. He says, obviously, the totals could look skewed given Kane's career isn't over and he could easily score another. Say 100 goals before his career is over. You know, give or take, but I'm taking Rooney.
Yeah, I mean, Kane, how old is he? 32, isn't he? 31?
Yeah. 31.
Yeah, so he's going to have another tournament in him, isn't he? But
Yeah.
it's where he gets his goals is against the stupid nations where they don't count.
Yeah.
You know, and all friendlies and all that count. That friendly shouldn't count. It should be competitive matches only. You know, you're scoring a hat-trick against San Marino. Why should that count for anything?
Yeah, you're right, because those type of games, it's like you're scoring silly goals. That,
you know, and he plays in them games.
Yeah.
You know, so before you may have had against them teams, you may have had Wayne Rooney may not have played. Oh,
good challenge.
Yes, you know, I think when you're playing every game and you're the main man and you put yourself in that position to score goals, and obviously Kane is a great goal scorer, I could take nothing away from him. But for me, I would just give it to Rooney.
Apollo says Rooney was one of the world's best technical.
Oh, look at that pitch, man. That Højbjerg slid in there, and that's literally could have broke right his leg.
Apollo says Rooney was a 9 and a 10 all in one. He had the best
And
touch
an 8.
and grace despite his rugged edge.
Yeah, but it was the rugged edge which made him so good.
Yeah.
If you take that away from his game, he would have been nothing. But he did learn to control that rugged edge when he went to United. He wasn't so petulant.
And it's so strange because you know, here's the thing. I said when Gareth Bale was at Spurs, I said he needed to leave and go to Real Madrid, and you saw the better player that he was, and he's excelled. And I just wonder if Rooney had gone to Europe, what he could have been.
Oh, Bellingham, what are you doing?
You know, if you went to somewhere in Spain to improve on his even better, good technical ability, what a player he could have been for.
Yeah, but I think at the time United were literally one of the best teams in the world, weren't they?
Yeah.
You know, with Real Madrid and like Barcelona. But would he have fitted in them type of teams?
Why can we not clear the ball?
Why can Pickford not come and catch it? Because he's a tiny midget goalkeeper.
Cam says Trent in the middle is nonsense. looking at Rice winning the ball there. Top. Yeah, he doesn't really get stuck in, does Trent, does he?
I think my only problem, like I said, with Trent in the middle, like he's there for the passing, but he's always got a mistake in him. Always got a mistake in him. And you don't want the mistakes coming, giving away silly free kicks or penalties because he can't tackle.
Very, very nicely for him. They got this from their left foot. It's just
So England top of the group. If we win this, we're guaranteed a place in the last 16.
Everyone's saying, is it France in the 16 or is it round of 16? Is it quarters?
Who would we have in the round of 16, Jackson? Let me get my status son on it. He did the way Denmark knocked the ball about, you know, it's brimming with confidence.
What do you think of the officiating?
I think it's been good. I like the automated offsides. Are we seeing that in the Premier League next year?
Oh, good ball.
I think that's been really good.
Mm,
Great ball, Declan Rice.
unlucky.
Unlucky.
Karen says that was awful defending by Denmark on the goal. I still think Kane isn't good.
He's a good deal there.
The striker over him, in my opinion. I tell you what that does do, though. If you do have Bellingham up front, that frees up another player in the midfield.
Sorry, Vinci, what's that?
And Cam's saying that he's saying that was awful defending by Denmark on the goal, but he said he still thinks Kane isn't good. He says he'll start Bellingham as a striker over him.
Well, you probably could do, but Harry Kane is going to play every minute of every game. That's a dead cert. I think when you say the defending wasn't good, I think sometimes when you're defending, you need composure, and when you lose the composure, you literally make a mistake. And I think when the Denmark guys come running into the box, he's just no composure. He's running in too fast, and that allows the ball to bounce nicely for Harry Kane.
Mm.
You know, if he composes himself, he can probably control it or knock it out for a corner. So first yellow card of the game for a foul on Saka, who probably would have been away there.
Yeah. 18 says Bellingham up front over Kane. I'd buy that for $1. So here's the thing: that does free up that does free up the rotation behind him, because
but what you're losing, I mean, Bellingham, right? He may have played up front for Real Madrid, but that's Real Madrid. Real Madrid and this England team are two completely different things. You haven't got the players around you to give you the service you need, and to do what Harry Kane does in occupying defenders is a skill set in its own.
But even at this stage now, you can still bring Kane on as a sub, and he'll be a good sub as a striker in that situation. You think about strikers now. You're going to bring a striker who's going to be able to command that presence in that last.
Well, you don't, because what you do, you'd bring Ollie Watkins on if you want a striker to run the channels, and free Foden to go into the middle because Ollie Watkins would occupy mainly the left channel, or you'd bring Ivan Toney on for the presence and the holding up of the ball. So you've got two different options, isn't you?
So where do you then use the ability in the midfield, or the guys who are sitting on the bench, like in midfield, like your Mainu? Because they
well, Mainu for me, Manu, whatever we're calling him, we just call him Kobe. Kobe would have to Kobe would have to come on for Trent, wouldn't he? Because Kobe plays on the half term, right?
Yeah.
So when he gets the ball, he's always looking: can he turn? Can he go forward?
Yeah.
So you'd have Rice holding or Gallagher holding,
Mm-hmm.
and
let's go. Send it through his legs. Oh, come on. Denmark.
Dodgy keeper, Jordan Pickford, dodgy keeper.
Tell you what, it's a real blessing to see Eriksen playing the way he's playing, though. What a journey.
Yeah, especially after the bloody heart attack he had.
Yeah. Wow, what a journey. Apollo says Denmark's right wing back Mahele is playing high up on that side, but he's not getting much joy against Trippier right now. I hope that's the correct pronunciation. Mahele.
I mean, see that little play there when Saka knocks it back to Walker. I'd like to see Bellingham make that diagonal run into Saka's channel for that first time ball from Walker.
There's a lot of space in that midfield, isn't there?
Yeah, it's lovely switch, Gay.
Come on, Jude. Not in there. So.
See, that's little things like that is what Bellingham's got to get out of his game.
Yeah.
That flick that he tried to do was never on.
Doesn't need to.
Like he had a little pass there, which he could have made to Saka and England keep the ball.
But you know what? In Spain, he does that. He does do that in Spain. Go on, Saka. Take it down the line. You don't need to go inside. You've got the pace. Run him. You go. You get a foul. You get a foul every day. No. Oh, behave.
I mean, don't forget, you also got Cole Palmer that can come and play on the left.
And that's what I'm saying. The season that he has, players like that, you know, you can give them a good 45, 60 minutes in one game.
You know, they've got that young Palace kid who's probably the surprise call-up. Watson or whatever his name is. Is it Watson? Watson, something like that. He's a 6, holding midfielder. Again, he plays on the half turn.
What happened in the earlier game? I didn't see it.
It was 1-1, Jackson, wasn't it? In the earlier game. Yeah, it finished 1-1.
Must score. Oh.
Yeah, excellent challenge, man. Excellent challenge. I mean, look at that pitch. It's terrible. Is this the pitch that's just been relayed? Yeah, but there was a pitch they said the other day that had just been relayed.
I can't even play golf on this, man.
Oh, I could. I can't play golf on hard ground, but on soft ground, I can whack the ball for miles.
England hanging on there.
England have left Foden up front. To be honest, I don't know why teams don't do that more often. Leave a player up front. Because he has to occupy 2 defenders, right?
Of course he has to, yeah.
So if you've got a player up front, that's 2 players that are not in the box or on the edge of the box.
Emerson says, Gary, Wharton, the young kid at Crystal Palace, is who you're referring to.
That's what I said.
Yeah, Wharton.
Wharton, same thing. Let's not be pedantic now, Emerson. And that was a free header and really should have been 1-1. Oh, he'd give a foul. That Vestergaard like 6'7", isn't he?
Yeah, Denmark is still a nation you can't really mess about with when it comes to Europe Euros because if you allow them still in the game.
Exactly. But that's why you've got to play. You can't afford just to sit back and hope to hit them on the break. You've got to be a bit more offensive minded. I'm not saying let's be gun-ho like in the days of Arsene Wenger, like all-out attack. You know, but you've got to show something more than just we're going to defend and try and play on the counter attack. Someone's going to break their ankle on this pitch. You know that.
Oh, great goal! Great goal! OMG! That's what football's about.
Tiny goalkeeper. Tiny goalkeeper.
To do there. Draw his foot, man. Great goal. That's football.
In off the inside of the post.
That's football. Emerson's got a quiz coming. 18 says. 18, you know the score. Emerson.
Oh, you see that guy on the screen? That's the King of Denmark, you know. The one with his shirt open, chest on view. That's the King of Denmark.
Wow.
Let's have a look at this.
Great shot. Look at this.
See Harry Kane. What's he trying to do? Trying to force the pass that was never on.
I love midfielders who can shoot like that. Bang. Cuts right across it. Inside. Bang. Lovely technique.
I'd say we've seen some fantastic goals in this competition. That's another one. But this is what I'm saying. So you're allowing Denmark possession in areas where they can hurt you. And then they're no mugs. And it's, you know, Harry Kane doesn't need to play that ball.
I think the midfield just looks very disjointed. I don't think you actually need you need pace going down both flanks. If you've got the overlap of Walker's pace and you've got Saka's pace, what's going on the
well, on the left, there's nothing being offered on the left. There's no out ball. Foden's not the guy that's going to make the runs. He wants to play the ball. Trippier doesn't get forward at all. You know, so that's why it looks disjointed.
Big up yourself, Shay Arsenal. Enough love to you, man. Big up yourself.
You know, I mean, when that guy picks up the ball, where's Trippier? Not Trippier, sorry. Where's Trent? Rice can't get there.
Apollo says, great strike from Hulmand. Pickford will be fuming that he's been beaten from such a distance. He was scrambling.
Yeah.
He's proper scrambling.
He was... I didn't think that was a foul. England got lucky there because I didn't think that was a foul, but the Denmark guys actually picked up the ball and was driving on. Yeah, it's not a foul. He won the ball. He won the ball. It's never a foul. But Denmark are in the ascendancy because England are allowing them to be in the ascendancy. Yeah. England are just marking space. They're not trying to create anything. Denmark are here to play football and win a game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Foden, he's done one thing and we haven't seen him. Saka's being marked out of the game. Bellingham hasn't even touched the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know, to be honest. It's just the instructions they've been sent out with are clear.
Well,
we defend, we mark space, we make it hard for them, and we try and nick something. Here he is again.
Hanging on. You had another pop. It's gone for corner now.
What's going on, guys? How are we getting on?
Hi, Apollo. Welcome. Yeah, it's not good. Not good. Not good at all.
Yeah, my stream just shut off, so that's probably summing up the display from England right there. What's going on, Shane? What's going on, Emerson? What's going on, 18?
Ooh.
Cam, what's going on?
Yeah, just Denmark are just in their ascendancy in his corner, just over the bar.
Basically, you got one team that want to play football and one team that are just trying to stop the other team playing football. Denmark want to play, and England just want to stop them from playing and try and nick something on the counter.
And let's be fair. I mean, Pickford's having a go at everybody there, but he's going to be grieved getting beaten from that distance.
Well, that's what happens when you're a tiny goalkeeper.
Okay, I mean, I've grown up not expecting England to do decent when it comes to these tournaments, but as I've grown up, I've seen English players get better technically, and I'm looking at this and I'm thinking they almost look tired, and I'm just wondering, is our football still in our league not allowing us to play?
No, it's nothing to do with that. It's the structure of the team, Vincey.
It's a system.
It's a system that Southgate's deploying.
But
you know, Denmark look full of energy because their confidence is brimming. Because every time they get the ball, they look like they can score a goal. England get the ball, and it's just like, well, what are we going to do with it now? There's no one making a run. Everyone's static. What can we actually do?
So would you say right now technically, this is better than the golden era football that Capello had. Squad.
Yeah, I would definitely. But see, England's biggest problem is that you try to shoehorn certain players into the team and it doesn't work. Rather than playing, how many times do we see like Arsenal, Wenger trying to put a round peg in a square hole? It doesn't work. When you get the players that actually fit positions, that's when a team functions, right? So for England, for years and years, always wanted to do Gerrard, Lampard.
Foden. Send it. Foden, what are you doing that? Why are you not sending it to Kane?
That's what I mean. That's terrible. How has he not slid Harry Kane in there?
Sinful.
How has he not slid Harry Kane in there? That is absolutely shocking.
Yeah,
But
look,
see, now that's come off the back of Foden getting panned and trying to create something that's not on, rather than playing his natural game.
Yeah, Vincey, for me, it's like, and I said this to Gary in the last stream, it's easy to put everything on the manager, but then the players also have to take some responsibility. But the system innately doesn't suit the players. He's a far too disciplined coach defensively, and he's utilizing what is one of the most talented offensive teams in world football. They are the favorites in this tournament, right? They are the favorites in this tournament. So that shows you, given the talent at his disposal, the tactical analysis of the team is defensive based.
Well, if you look at what Arsenal done, Apollo, this season, because it was looking for a while where we were so defensive minded and we wasn't so offensive minded, and all of a sudden the balance became right, didn't it? Yeah. And then the defense and the offense went together, and that's where we started scoring all them goals. Because before Christmas, we wasn't conceding any, but we wasn't scoring many.
I think
then all of a sudden it all clicked, and
I think
it became one unit.
I think the first problem he's got is the potential squad list starting with his starting 11. We don't know whether this is the best starting 11.
I don't think it is.
He doesn't know whether it's the best start 11. So, Ben Chilwell playing at right back and all these different things that they were trying out. England playing 4-2-3-1, which is what they would pretty much do in the summer. There's the biggest questions leading into the tournament were all of those things, and I personally think that they don't have their best 11 out there.
I mean, do you know the funny thing? Sorry to interrupt you, Apollo. I've just seen just watching the goal again. Trent actually tries to block the ball after it's gone past him. He sticks his right foot up in the air after the ball has gone past him. What kind of defending is that?
Yeah, I think I think transition is a bit of an issue for them. They do create chances, and they're very, very patient. In fact, they're too patient on sitting on the ball in the midfield in regards to what to do with those shooting opportunities. But they are there. They are there. This isn't the
just give it away again in the dangerous place.
England have always established themselves as an attacking force and a dominant side, and defensively is where they've always had problems.
Playground. Kane, where are you going? Do you know what? I actually look. This
is just ridiculous. It is just rubbish. Why has Harry Kane not just give that to Bellingham and then carried on his run without the ball?
Simple 1-2. Oh, good shot.
All the inventiveness has come from Denmark, and England are just literally stuttering.
I mean, I believe this England team have the football to play what Arsenal were playing, not last season, the season before. So if you imagine that type of height...
Look at that, he's Stones to just give it away, playing a 1-2 that was never on with Trent.
I think the thing you got to realise is that the team, the system he's running, Vincey, is not set up for the formation. The formation should be 3-4-3. He should be playing 3 at the back. His 4-man midfield should either have Trippier or Trent in the midfield as that sort of rotating attacking option wing back. And that's how the team should play. It should be a 3-4-3. That's how the team should. But he's not playing like that. He's not playing that. He's playing a very different structured formation at the back, and it doesn't suit the team. And then he's playing one up front. It just doesn't work. You're not utilizing Saka. You're not utilizing Foden. It just doesn't work.
So that's why I said earlier on, it's like, so the midfield players that you have, if you've got 3-4-3 and you still got two defenders and Trent and Walker, in essence, playing in the three part of that midfield, why are you not using better skillful midfielders on the pitch?
Because
Give it
as I
back to
said
him.
to you before,
Oh, come on, Harry Kane, man. So
because
slow.
He's a defensive-minded coach. That's why he's doing the things he's doing. The formation
I pray that he gets a Man United job or a job in the Premier League, because he'll get sacked straight away. He is not the guy.
The formation he's playing is true towards a one up front, and the team has got too much talent for that. I mean, even if you played a 4-3-3, right, you could even allow four of them to start ahead of the single defensive midfielder rather than the double pivot. But there needs to be a balance struck between maximizing the attacking threat and ensuring that the defensive organization is still strong enough. The problem with England is of what you just saw there.
No, he's gone there. Foden, go away, Foden.
But ultimately, the key to any success is going to be the principles on how they play at the back and how much players they play in the midfield. And I think 3-4-3 is the right formation for this team. Because if you're not playing like that, don't play Trippier and don't play Trent Alexander.
Yeah.
Basically, there's three right backs on the field.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you can't play a back four.
Yeah,
you can't play a back four.
It's crazy.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
You know, and Foden doesn't offer nothing defensively, right? So if for instance you had Ollie Watkins playing on the left, he's going to get back and he's going to help out Trippier, but Trippier's not getting any help. Walker's getting the help from Saka, but on the left hand side, Trippier's on his own.
Well, we did have a back three. Now we've got a back four. Big up yourself, Emerson.
As Shay says, remember to hit the like button, guys, and subscribe to the channel. Big up to all of you guys in Twitter land and YouTube land. Emerson, how you doing? Good to see you, bro.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
What's your thoughts?
Just got in from my treatment. It's what Gary and Vinci has been saying throughout the game. For the first half, listen to their analyst side of it. I think that I agree with what they're saying. It's not fluent England as it was before, but as I said, we don't know if they're tired or not. But as I said, they've been out there for about 2 or 3 weeks, so just have to see. We'll have to see what happens. We see what happens in the second half.
You know what I think it is? I think it's the manager. He so wants to do. He knows it's his last tournament. Win, lose or draw, it's his last tournament. So he's determined to go out with winning the whole thing. But his approach to doing that is, we're going to be so defensively minded. We're not going to give anything away, and we're going to rely on the Kane or a Saka or a Foden or a Bellingham to nick us a goal, and we're going to hold on to that.
I think there's two things there. The first thing is that you can't have controlled possession at this level with this talented team. If you had a team where you were struggling in terms of, you know, your midfield wasn't dynamic, and your defense was leaky, then you could try a more controlled possession game. But you've got too much talent in that team. You've got way too much firepower to play the way that you're playing now, and it doesn't suit this team. And it's hurting Foden's game, and it's hurting Saka's game, because you're getting nothing out of them. And the Trent can't continue in the midfield. They're getting dominated in the midfield against the Denmark team. And Serbia was overcoming them in the second half in the last game. You can't do that. You can't do this anymore. It's not working. Change it. They need Manu or Gallagher with the energy to start winning those battles in the midfield and kickstarting the transition. They're losing there. They're losing it.
I mean, they're showing on the TV now, like the highlights, and you've got Saka and Foden are narrow, and there's so much space on the wings. It's unbelievable.
I tell you what, guys, I'll tell you something for free. If England play Germany, France, or Spain, they're going to get torn apart.
100%.
Yeah, they're going to get.
But that's what I said in the last stream. We'll come up against a proper nation. Because for as good as Denmark are, they're not what you would class as a proper nation, like football-wise. But you come up against a Germany, a Spain, or a France, and you play like this, you're out the game at half time.
Well, I'm just looking and thinking. Well, I know we're talking about the stifling. Apollo, you were talking about stifling of certain players in attack, but even if you think John Stones, he's good on the ball. He's not even a factor. He's just there just to defend. So
that's what I'm saying. They're all there to contain Vinci. It's not just the defend. Everyone is there to contain Denmark. Denmark are having the run of the field because England are static in their positions. So if you don't go and engage the ball and you allow this guy here to pass to this guy here who's again in space because you're marking space, you're not marking the man. He's then going to do something with the ball. Then when someone comes to him, he will shift the ball. But England are marking space. They're not marking people.
Yeah, I was just looking at now the replay for the goal for England. That was all Carl Walker because that was a ball by Bellingham. And if Walker didn't have that earnest to get in that position.
I mean, he actually muffed the cross because it hits the first defender, which then hits the guy that's running in, which then rebounds it to Kane. So there's a huge, huge slice of luck in that goal. Without that goal, without that happening, England wouldn't have scored in this game.
Yeah.
So Rio Ferdinand saying about the Harry Kane problem is the same with Portugal and Ronaldo. I mean, who is Kane trying to pass to there? Watch Trent trying to block this ball when it's past him. Watch. He sticks out a leg after the ball is past him.
Yeah, lazy, innit?
Look. Ball's past him, sticks out a leg. Nowhere near blocking it. John Stones turns away. Actually, if John Stones stands square on there, that ball hits him. But he turns sideways.
Great strike.
If he turns the other way, the ball hits him. But he turns his back towards the ball. I don't understand that type of defending.
That they're showing us chance by Foden, and he's got all the ability, but then sometimes a little casual. But then what he was deep in that run that he did, absolutely beautiful.
I think with that chance, Vincey, that one where he chopped on the edge of the box, I think that the ball's too far away from him. He's reaching for the ball, which is why he can't get it on target. He just needed to compose himself and just get right up to the ball, and then he's got a free strike on goal.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the other nations will be having a player like Foden. He won't be on that left-hand side.
But give him the free role, but then you've got to have something out there on the left. But that's where an Ollie Watkins would give you the hustle and bustle on the left. Kane's not going to do the dog work and the running. He hasn't got the legs. But an Ollie Watkins would get out to the left and allow Foden to come more central. And Ollie Watkins would also play central and then, when needed, put in a sprint out to the left.
Yeah.
Tony's not going to give you that, and the Kane sure as hell's not going to give you that.
I think Cam's come up and said the space the Danes are having in midfield area is killing us, especially Christian Eriksen. I mean, his tempo and his control is very impressive. It was good before, but I'm just so shocked that he's able to maintain that level now after.
Look at them clumps of grass, man. They look like me playing golf.
Apollo says, Cam, the only thing worse than this England performance has been the pitch.
I think we've got a graphic of the average positions that England players before the goal and post the goal. That's before, obviously, that's still quite big, but then it got up even more. That's exactly what we were talking about before the game. We highlighted that before.
See that? So England have literally dropped 5-10 yards since they scored the opening goal.
Terrible.
Especially against teams that are considered like top teams around. I'm not disrespect to them.
And Rio's just saying exactly what you and me said, Vincey. When you come up against the top teams, no disrespect to Denmark, you can't do that.
And that's what I'm saying. It's a mentality thing.
But that comes from the manager, no?
Yeah.
If Arteta sent Arsenal out every game and played like that, that comes from the manager, right?
Mm.
It doesn't matter who the manager is. If you send your team out with instructions to play like that, they're following the instructions, because we know that England have players in this team that can affect a game in a serious way. Bellingham, Saka, Foden, Kane, Rice, Trent, they can all affect a game. Stones at the back can play a ball. Trippier can play a ball. So everyone in this team can affect a game, but they're not being allowed to affect a game because they're sent out with these specific instructions that this is what we're going to do. We're going to just hold our shape, hold our lines, and if they can score, good luck to them.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually available now on iPlayer.
Wow. Is it Italy? Is it Italy playing the other games at 8 o'clock?
Who's playing at 8 o'clock, Jackson?
Spain, Italy.
Yeah, Spain, Italy. That should be a cracking game. Apollo, are we doing 1-on-1 Spain, Italy?
You're doing it all day.
Yeah, whatever games you lot want to do, just throw the request my way, and if I'm free, I'll get them done.
Well, that's
When is
tonight.
that
That's
one?
after this. Tonight.
Gary, when is that one?
Tonight. After it's an 8 o'clock game.
Yeah, if you want to do that, if you lot ain't doing anything,
That should be a cracking game, because both Spain will want to attack as they do play, and Italy will want to defend. But Italy showed some really good play in their first game.
Yeah, I mean, Italy look nice. They look composed, and I think they you can get more from them. Barella's a player, man. He's playing within himself. You know what I mean?
That is it. Chiesa,
Chiesa, yeah. I mean,
their right winger. He looked mustard.
Yeah, every time I see him, I think about his dad, and I thought his dad didn't really.
Who's his dad?
Yeah, Chiesa's dad when he used to play.
What year was this? Was I born?
Early, late 90s, early 2000s. Yeah, Chiesa.
Just trying to, for like back in the day, I remember like obviously Paolo Rossi.
Yeah,
that was 80s, weren't it? Paolo Rossi. And then who was the other guy? Who was the other striker they had?
Enrico's father. Yeah, Enrico Chiesa.
Yeah, who was Emerson? Who was, you'll know because you'll know everything about football. Who was the other Italian guy that scored a bag for the goals after Paolo Rossi became a cult hero?
Scalacci.
Scalacci, that's it.
Yeah,
Scalacci.
Scalacci.
I was gutted because when he scored those goals, man like Vialli and Mancini, who were at the time, I think they were at Sampdoria, didn't really get a look in that Italian 90. Scalacci just scored them goals and just went on.
And then Roberto Baggio, the divine ponytail.
Yeah. But they had players, man.
Yeah, they've had some players, didn't they? They've had some players.
Signori, Zola. I mean, he had players that couldn't even get in the team. Zola couldn't really get into the Italian team because they had some players, left footers. Dimitri Albertini in midfield, sick player. Dino Baggio.
Raminelli.
Who's that one? Emerson?
Raminelli.
Yeah, Raminelli, yeah. Man like Del Piero. All them.
Oh, Del Piero, yeah, God, how did we not even mention him till last?
That's just ridiculous players.
Pirlo, have we mentioned Pirlo?
Yellow, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's like in these tournaments, these players will step up and seize the moment and say, "Do you know what? You're going to get a chance and make it."
You've got to take off your big man sometimes and put someone else to fix the game.
Yeah, so Rio Ferdinand is saying, as a manager, you've got to have the balls basically to take off your big man and put on someone else who's going to affect the game. Because Kane is not, all right, he scored the goal, but he could have missed from 5 yards out. But he's not affecting the game in any other way.
And that's where it goes back to, I think it was 18's point, or either 18 or Cam, who was saying that they'll have.
So no substitutions for England.
Have Bellingham up front and have a.
But why wouldn't you remove Trent, move Bellingham back to the 8, and bring on a Cole Palmer and move Foden central behind Kane, where Foden can get in the little pockets that he likes. You got Kane running, you'd have Palmer running, you'd have Saka running, you'd have Bellingham running.
I'll do that if they were prepared to allow Cole Palmer to go down the flank.
That's what I'm saying. You move Palmer to the left, you take Trent off, you move Bellingham back to the 8. Foden comes into the 10, and Palmer goes on the left.
But you know, Bellingham's natural game is he want to drift. He would run with the ball where you'd want Cole Palmer to be running with that ball.
Yeah, but the system would be interchangeable, wouldn't it? So if it doesn't always pay to have players in one position through the whole game. If the defender's marking someone and he thinks, right, well, I've got this guy, and if you change it up and put another player there, he's got to work out that player.
I think what you've seen in that first half is England's personalities on the ball have shown themselves. They're not playing a system.
I don't personally think Southgate's got a clue.
Yeah, I've been convinced a long time.
When you're whacking all these poor teams in the qualifiers, everything looks rosy. Yeah, great. But when you come to the tournament, you've got to have a bit more about you.
Right, guys. Second half's going to kick off. Sorry about that. I've just work is mega busy right now. Mega busy.
Think of the money.
Yeah. Busiest time of the year for us at work. Right. So let's touch base with you guys and see what's going on. Thoughts about the game so far? I don't really have that much thoughts. I told you guys what I thought. England.
See, look at the space. Look.
Send it.
He's got a runner. Look.
Score. Come on.
England for me, guys, have started too tentative. It's just been too been too conservative for me.
What, back past that is from Trippier.
And Denmark have grown into the game. And like I said to you guys before, the only thing worse than England's performance at the moment is the state of the pitch. Trent
gets away with one there.
He's just wasting a position in that pitch, man. I'm about a minute and a half ahead of you guys. I'm at 46.50.
Yeah, same as me.
I'm 46.0. No, I'm 46.
You're literally 2 seconds ahead of me, Vincey.
Oh.
Yeah, so you guys are way ahead of me.
See, Foden, get down the line, Foden.
Ugly football. I can't do it.
Yeah, it's even if you dress this one up Put on a
You can't,
miniskirt, fling some
you can't dress
lipstick
it
on
up.
it.
It's
Still going
impossible
to be
to
a
dress it
bad
up.
game, isn't it? Yeah, it's a tough one, man. But I mean, it's only half time. There's plenty of time left. The
I
thing
don't
is, as I said to you,
understand.
though, England, as I said to you, Denmark is growing into the game. That's the only problem they got.
What I don't understand is why Foden and Saka come so narrow when
Right.
Denmark have the ball.
Saka, you know what? He's my player, but you got to be in that situation and run the line.
Yeah. Look, guys, I've got to think with my Southgate cap on, which is something I don't really want to do. But the only thing I would do to change the game in the immediate right now is I think I would bring on Ollie Watkins and match them at a 4-4-2 and get Watkins and Kane up top. That's what I would probably do. And I may put Gallagher in there as well, just an extra midfielder. Mark Gahey is just...
He's having a game, isn't he?
He's the real deal, bro.
He's having a game.
It's the real deal. To think that they suffered years of Harry Maguire. Oh, nice little touch there by Saka.
Harry Maguire will be back, Apollo. He'll be back.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
If Southgate stays in charge, Harry Maguire will be back.
Yeah. I think that it's very difficult to watch. It's square pegs in round holes.
So would you say Carl Walker's been England's most improved player? Because for me, I just think I didn't see this. What I'm seeing from Carl Walker.
18 makes me laugh. He said, if it wasn't for Gary and Vincey, I would have switched the game off. England are going to lose. No, that's a bit negative, bro.
18, you're just looking at Vincey's trim.
Yeah, Vincey looking sharp today. I'm going to get my cut tomorrow, man.
Yeah,
I got a busy weekend. My son's having his 21st barbecue on Saturday, and I'm taking the grandkids out to Gulliver's World of Adventures on Sunday. So I'm really looking forward to that. Cam said, what is the real issue, Apollo? Well, the real issue is that the team is filled with some of the most amazing, talented attacking players who all play for teams that press relentlessly. So what happens when you tell those players...
Go on now, Trent. Go on, Trent. 4 versus 3, and he's played the ball behind everyone. Get off the pitch, man.
So what happens when you play those players who are used to pressing teams into oblivion and tell them to play a mid-block game? What it does is it disjoints the team, because the intensity that Saka and Declan Rice are used to playing with Arteta.
Foden, why have you just not headed that back across the goal, man?
So you've literally lost most of the effectiveness from all of those teams. Yeah, it's tough, man.
Just use it, dude. Give it back to him. That's it. That's better. Can we shoot?
Yeah, he puts the ball behind Foden instead of in front of him. And then Harry Kane is way too passive off the ball. He's not doing anything. If Harry Kane doesn't have the ball at his feet, he's not influencing the game. He's not really doing anything. And
that's why I said that Ollie Watkins up front in place of Harry Kane would hassle the defenders, not give them a moment's peace. He would run channels. You're not getting nothing from Kane. He's just there basically. If a chance comes, can he take it?
And the passing for England is just so bad. The passing's not great.
I mean, look how easy that was just to go from defence to midfield to attack. And it's only a bad ball that stops them from going clean through on goal. There's no pressure on the ball. So your point there, Apollo, about the lack of press is really good. It's hit the nail right on the head. Because England haven't pressed once. Once they've pressed and they nearly nicked the ball with Rice on the edge of the area.
But that's what I was saying. So Foden and Saka are looking to implement a press, but Harry Kane is so off sync that it's liable to backfire on them if they do. So they don't.
Great ball, Trent.
You can see Foden and Saka just trying to.
Saka unlucky, man.
Oh,
He's almost squeezed that header in. He's got clattered by the keeper. But that's the run.
Victor says, let England
Oh,
lose.
so
Our
unlucky,
players
man.
can rest and win the league. Yeah, you know what? That's not a bad idea, Victor. That's not a bad idea.
So
Victor.
unlucky.
Yeah, that was very close. And you know what that came? You know what that came from, Gary? Trent Alexander just injecting a bit of pace and urgency into the game.
That's it. Literally, if you give Trent the space and you give him runners, he will pick people out.
Yeah.
Sooner or later, he's going to hit one perfectly on the nail on the head, and the ball's he's going to put someone clean through. But if he's not got the runners, it's a pointless thing having him there.
Yeah, I mean, look, Trent has put that ball right on Saka's toe. Look, he's put it.
Sorry, Apollo. I always used to feel what Victor was saying. That's why I couldn't really support England, because I wanted Arsenal players to rest so they can come back.
Mad thing.
Gallagher's coming on.
Yeah, they need it, mate.
But yeah, Trent for Gallagher.
Yeah, I would put Watkins on. I would just run it.
The funny thing about that, guys, is that Trent has just picked up the ball and played one of his trademark balls, and then he gets hooked. Why wouldn't you give him another 5 minutes?
Gary, right now, the way to do this is put Rice at the base with Bellingham and Foden as dual number 10s or dual number 8s, whichever bloody number you want to use. But Southgate hasn't got the imagination for that. He just doesn't. I mean, if you're going to attack them in that way, I would even get Gordon or Eze on. I'd put Anthony Gordon or Eze on, and they would just walk this game.
Yeah, Eze, I'll say, yeah. Gordon more than Palmer would go down the line.
It's just too passive.
Yeah.
You need you've got to turn the heat up in this game, and it's too passive.
Harry Kane, make a run, get out of the way, man.
Victor says got three very tough matches in the opening 6.
See, look, Bellingham crosses the ball. Harry Kane has gone behind Bukayo Saka. Why is he not in the 9 position?
Well, look how deep England's dropped off.
No, you couldn't play this football on table football. You know that.
No, but Vincey, that's why I told you that Germany, France, and Italy or Spain would roast. Look how deep England's drawn. Better teams would be feasting off their bones, bro.
Yeah,
they'd be licking their bones right now.
Yeah, picking them apart.
Dropping off far too deep. It's just the right now.
Whoa.
It's the tactics.
And now you've seen Saka. Now you've seen Saka be like, now you've seen Saka be like the Saka of Arsenal. He's taken on.
So does it the post?
Yeah, great play by Gallagher to Saka to Foden to the post.
Oh, hold on, guys. I've got to send an email. Back in a second.
Victor says, if we don't win the league next season for whatever reason, be it fatigue or injuries.
And they're checking for a penalty here. No.
I think they're going to substitute now, aren't they?
So Denmark making 2 subs. Yeah, he was in the semi-final. He scored the free kick, didn't he? Go and press England. What? I don't understand. Do something different. Yeah, unlike Southgate.
Cam says, Victor, if we don't win the league, Arteta stays and finishes the job. None of this nonsense about sacking him. Victor says it will be Arteta's 5th season and he has to go.
Yes, he has to win a trophy.
So I'm thinking about putting £5 on Arsenal winning the League Cup.
That's the worst one. We're never going to win that.
Well, I said
Why is it-
Arsenal were going to win the league last season, and I got it wrong, and I'm saying it
Yeah.
again this season.
Gary, why is it the worst one?
Because we never play a proper team.
I don't understand why we can't.
And we always, because we're in the Champions League, don't we get one of the other teams that are in the Champions League normally, like a Liverpool or something like that?
We should be able to play better in the League Cup, man.
As long as Guardiola's there, yeah, it's going to be. So I don't agree with sacking him at all. I think that's
Good ball, Kane.
I think that's crazy considering.
Oh,
But
Saka,
look-
him.
Well, it's Saka versus 4. Look, Saka versus 4.
like it.
That was a great play there. Who was that?
Kane over to Saka.
Kane over to Saka. But
No, I
see
think it was
Bellingham there.
It was Gallagher.
Bellingham's on the edge of the box, Vincey, right? Why doesn't Bellingham make the central run for a nice little square ball for a shot?
Mm.
Victor says Chelsea are selling assets to buy players, so after 2 seasons they will be favourites. Chelsea need to sell players to deal with the amount of punishment they're going to get for breaking all of these laws for the
But they'll
players.
be
that
good
they-
when they come. They will be good when they.
Oh, they're good now. They're good now. They had the 4th most points from Christmas. So they're good now. But
1 second.
Arteta's turned Arsenal from a joke into a title contender. So you want to sack the only guy who's getting close to Pep Guardiola. Emerson, does that even make any sense?
Yeah, I agree. Reference that point you were saying about Chelsea selling players.
But you
Did
should
hear
have
the
been
rumour
higher.
in the last 24 hours? They Did you hear that? Did you hear that, guys?
No, I didn't know.
If you didn't hear what I did, I
Oh,
said
lucky.
Chelsea might have to sell
But look, there's
Mudryk.
one England player in the box against 10 them.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I was saying they might have to sell Mudryk after 1 season.
Exactly. I mean, like I said, sacking Arteta would be pointless. You know, who would Arsenal get to improve on the club's culture? It's not just the points and everything. The whole model of the club is cooking right now. Arsenal are cooking. They're cooking. It doesn't just. It's a ludicrous headline statement trying to sack Arteta. It really is. Nobody in Europe talked about Arsenal for 15 years before Mikel Arteta came along. After they lost to Barcelona in the final, nobody talked about Arsenal in Europe before Arteta could walk through the door.
Did you see that, Vincey? Saka just took one in the face
Yeah, I saw him.
and didn't even batter an eyelid.
That would have hurt, man. I will say this though, Apollo. I was close to putting £100 on the fact that Emery would go all the way to the Europa League with Arsenal, based on his record, and Arsenal winning, for us to go and stumble at the and play so poorly in that final.
I hear you. Victor says, Apollo, it's all about stats. 5 seasons, no wins. He's like, it actually isn't. Could you imagine walking up to Josh Kroenke and telling him it's all about the stats? When Josh Kroenke is seeing Arsenal fans at the happiest that they've been in 20 years, they're the most money the club's ever earned in history. Yeah? Shirt sales every year, breaking records because everyone wants to wear their kit. And world-renowned popularity of the team at an all-time high. So can you imagine you saying to Josh Kroenke, it's all about the stats? He ain't hearing that, mate. He's not hearing that because what he's seeing is a team that is cooking and earning money, profitability through the roof, earnings through the roof, 6th richest club in the world, 9th richest sports team in the world. That includes Dallas Cowboys, Kansas City Chiefs, includes sports teams. So 6th biggest football team, 9th biggest sports team in the world. So yeah, it's right now Arsenal are cooking, bro. Camp says Arteta has them overachieving. To be fair, the only reason that Arsenal haven't won anything is because they're competing with Man City. The only team to be able to beat them was Klopp's Liverpool once in the last 7 years.
Okay, I've got a question.
Once.
I've got a question for Emerson. Now, take your time over this now, Emerson.
Go on.
Have you got a photo from every one of the top European countries in Europe, whether it's a manager or a player?
I would say 40% of that I have photos with various players and managers, but you have to see my album first because I've got an album that I can show you.
So, when you say 40%,
I've got one of Ancelotti, if you would have seen.
Yeah, I've seen Ancelotti. It's in Italy.
I'll say 40%. Yeah, but I'll say 10% of that's managers, and 30% of that is players that are now retired.
Mm. So, have you got anyone from Germany?
So you name a player. You name a player from
Germany?
from like
Lehmann?
Say that again.
Have you got Lehmann?
No. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Ozil? Okay, so Germany's
loads of time. Who?
France? Anyone
Did
from
you say
France?
Ozil?
No. Yeah. France?
Yeah.
Ozil?
Thierry Henry, yes. Will.
Okay. So
Perez, Vieira.
Spain? Fabregas?
Yes.
Okay.
Who?
Portugal?
Czech Republic. Yes. Suarez.
Well done, Mark Gay. Brilliant.
Okay. Suarez. Nice one.
They're playing well at the moment.
Oh, unlucky.
Bergkamp?
Yes.
Overmars? Okay. Wow.
No.
Ooh.
So, guys, just want to go around the
Dutch
table. By the way, talking about the game, much better signs from England. Saka and Foden in particular, they've really come alive. So you can see now Saka on the ball again. By the way, Gallagher got a yellow card. He got a booking for England's first booking of the tournament. After he gets the ball just after Christian ends up stamping on his foot. I think funny how that always works.
Like England, we've gone to a back five, and we've got now Ebony. Good evening, my dear.
Good evening, everyone.
How are we?
Ebony?
Good evening.
Yeah, I just I was at a colleague's funeral, so that's why I missed the first half.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, Victor says.
Yeah. Sorry.
Victor says, forget about the American owners. They're all about the Benjamins, not the score. Fans need hardware. Yeah, every team needs hardware, but right now, hardware only belongs to one team, and that's Man City. So what do you think we should do about that, Victor? How do you get over the Man City problem? Because no one's able to solve that question. The best minds in football, the best managers in football, the high spending teams like Manchester United and Chelsea in football, none of them have been able to get past it. So what would you recommend? Sacking Arteta is definitely not the only option on the cards, because if he's the only person who's got close to Pep, you're going to sack the man that's got the closest to him. Then what's your plan? What's the solution? Gary, what's your thoughts on Arsenal's first 6 games?
Tough couple of away games. But it's up to us to start the season well, isn't it? You know, listen, at the end of the day, you've got to go out there and win football matches. It doesn't matter who you're playing. You've got to go and get the job done. We beat the teams last year, with the exception of Villa. So there's no reason why we shouldn't start the season well. Hopefully a couple of new signings under our belt. And give the league a proper go. Gallagher's going to get sent off.
Yeah, it looks like it. And it's happened a couple of times. You got 2 reds this season. You got 2 red cards already this season.
I'm actually behind. What minute are you people on?
67.50.
I'm 67.20.
I'm 65.30.
He's just kicked
9.
Guys, newsflash: actor Donald Sutherland, who probably a lot of you know, he just passed away today.
Oh, no way, man. Keeper's dad.
Yeah, Keith's dad, yeah.
So Ollie Watkins for Foden. Eze for, so Bowen for Foden. So he's obviously going to hook Saka as well, isn't he?
I don't know why Foden started.
He's making 3 subs.
I'm glad he's done it straight away, to be honest, because he took way too long to do this last time.
Harry Kane for Watkins.
Good.
And Saka for Eze.
Saka's well.
Right, Vincey, I'm coming to you in a second, Vincey.
I haven't even seen it, so I'm going to quickly have a look.
No, I'm showing you now. I'm pulling it up now. Victor says there are 3 hardwares to win FA League, Carabao. Man United scraped one. Yeah, they did. They finished 8th, and they scraped one. They got in there. Right, Vincey. Let's get rid of the scoreline. Vincey, what's your thoughts on Arsenal's? So Arsenal have Wolves at home, Villa away, tough one. Brighton at home, Tottenham away, tough one. City away, tough one. So 3 out of the first 5 games are real tough ones, all away from home. They got Aston Villa, Tottenham, and City away from home in the first 5 games. Vincey?
I think we're going to struggle.
Yeah.
I think we'll struggle. I'm looking at Christmas, and I'm thinking we should have a good Christmas. I'm not liking the away at Liverpool in May. But
are Liverpool going to be Liverpool without Klopp?
Yeah.
No, they're not.
You never know.
But yeah, I think we'll struggle. September's not a good month for us. And that's after Oktoberfest, after we go on the lash. We've got Newcastle, Chelsea. I think October, November is going to be tough. I think it's going to be tough for us.
Yeah, because then you've got Champions League games to fit in the middle of that. Emerson, what's your thoughts on our fixtures? First 5 games, 3 games away from home, Villa, City, and Tottenham.
Really important to say that when Tim was talking about all those activists,
like Rick said, it's going to be very tough. It's going to be very tough with those 3 away games. The home games, I think we should win, but who knows? We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. Don't know what's going to happen. As I said, you said
Ollie Watkins has just pulled a brilliant save from Kasper Schmeichel.
Where did that come from, Gary? Movement. Movement,
man. Ebony, what's your thoughts on our schedule?
Okay, Wolves at home. I mean, Wolves are beatable. Look, you know me already. I'm always optimistic. Aston Villa away. It could be tough. I think a lesson has to be learned from the 2 games that we lost against them last season, home and away. And the home game is what lost us the Premier League. Tottenham, that's a potential draw, but then again, we won there last season. Man City away, okay, we drew there last season, but nothing to say that we can't win. Leicester City, That's a home game. That might be, that could be a potential banana skin. I think they're all winnable, but then again, I can see why people think they're tough fixtures, especially Man City and Aston Villa.
Well, Villa's going to be the toughest. Oh, here they come.
They're definitely tough fixtures, but you've got to remember that they're playing Arsenal. No one's going to want to play us either.
No, Gary.
Oh.
Villa's going to be the toughest game because you're going to have international players who are going to be coming back late. So the early games, like the Wolves, the Villa, and Brighton, which are all in August, they're going to be the most dangerous because you're just going to have so many players who are going to be still rested from long international breaks. And that's when we're going to be our most vulnerable. Luckily enough, Villa has quite a few international players as well, Gary. So the door swings both ways, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But that's when we're going to be our most vulnerable.
And this is why, it's important that, we have a depth in strength bench, because I'm sure Saka and Rice will be very tired coming back. How long do they get? And it depends on how far England go into the competition. How
I'd say Ollie Watkins has done more in 5 minutes than Kane done in 2 games.
Yeah. Ebony's frozen there.
Apollo, question for you.
No.
If you're listening,
I'm listening,
regarding pre-season, have you been told?
Yeah.
Have you been told some of the players that I think most of the under-18s, under-19s, and those who weren't on international duty are due back on the 2nd of July?
Yeah, well, I've been told that they're back next week. Yeah. I've been told it's not a.
Because they reckon
it's not an. Yeah, it's not an 8:30 start. It's a 10 o'clock start for them. That's when they're in. They're normally in at 8:30, but it's 10 o'clock start for them.
Yeah.
And it's just gonna be a welcome back day. They've got food prepared. They've got massage prepared. It's basically a spa day. They're gonna have a spa day when they come back. So that would be nice for them.
Get you.
A lazy spa day, yeah.
Yeah, those are.
Spa day. I got some bad news.
So it'd be interesting to see how long Tierney.
Yeah, I got some sad news. My inside girl in the Zoe in the medical team, her contract may be running out in November. So all those messages I get in the morning about the team might stop coming. That would not be good for me at all. That was so good for me last season, man. If you're listening, Zoe, shout out to you.
Because it's rumored they're looking. Because it's rumored that they're looking around for another physio as well. Apparently, Apollo as well. Because there's another one who left from Man United as well. A few weeks back. Whether that's been confirmed, he's gone or not. In like that, they're looking for another physio as well. So.
Yeah.
Go on.
Apollo, look at Man United's first. Man United's first 5 games. I tell you what, though, City and Spurs' first 3 games are not easy as well. City and Spurs' first 5 games are very bad as well. It's going to be a really exciting season. But I do
we can't worry about them too much.
Yeah, I do want to say something though, Victor. Though, but if they do get rid of Arteta at the end of this season, I don't think Arsenal's going to make top 4. That's just me telling it like it is. If Arteta leaves the club, he won't. They're currently working on signing an extension for him, which they're going to announce soon. But if he leaves at the end of next season, Arsenal will drop out the top 4. Trust me.
Yeah, but would that not depend on the type of manager that we get?
Who's out there? You've got Chelsea now picking championship managers. Who's out there? Look at Ten Hag. He won 10 trophies when he was at Ajax. Champions League experience, everything. Look what is he putting up trees at Man United? They're trying to get rid of him, but he's costing them too much. If they sacked him this summer, they would have lost 18 million. So, and then who's out there? Who's going to replace Ten Hag? Name me a manager who's more experienced than a guy like him who's won 10 trophies, Champions League level, everything. Who's out there that's more experienced than him?
That's the question.
And what you have to remember, guys, is all the Tuchels and all those other guys, they're not coming back to the Premier League. A lot of these, like Conte, do you think Conte wants to come back to the Premier League? The experience he could not wait to get out of Spurs.
Yeah, but that's Spurs, though, isn't it? Would he come back for a different challenge at a different club?
Nah, I don't think he would. He's already done Chelsea. Nobody else would take him. City wouldn't take him. Arsenal wouldn't take him. Newcastle, maybe.
If we got Pep, do you think he'd make us?
That'll do, Jackson.
I don't think
it would work for us.
I don't think Pep. We've already got the best of Pep and Wenger at the club at the moment. Now we've already got the best of that. Now the problem is Ebony, what he's been able to do at City with the financial fair play that they've got away with and the money they've spent, the 1.6 billion. You remember Arteta's only spent just short of 800 million at the club. Pep spent double that.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. It is what it is. And they're getting the fruits of their labor. So you can't really say anything. Yes, they've been the best team. Yes, they spent the most money. But Pepper still, regardless of all the court cases and everything, he still needed to get them over the line. So big respect to him for that. But that's like saying, okay, we're running 100 meters. You run barefoot, I run spikes. Yeah? I get myself some testosterone, and here's a polo mint for you. That's basically what it's like going up against Man City over the last 7 years. So it's anyway. They reckon this thing, Emerson. They reckon this court case is going to come crashing down on them in November. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I'd like to see that as well. I mean, even if it's points deducted, which they probably won't get anyway. It's like they've been getting away with it for 15 years. I know majority of it or all of it was before Pep's time, but they've gotten away with it for 15 years.
I still think, even as in all teams that have dynasties, that they are who they are, but teams in those eras have had opportunities that could have taken titles away from them or cups. And we had our opportunity. And I still think 2 years running, we had very good opportunities.
Yeah, we should have won the title.
Yeah, I don't think we would get better opportunities. We may take opportunities, but I think those two opportunities in the last 2 years have been very good ones to take. And we just have to learn from it, because I think we will come back and come back stronger. But these last 2 years, definitely, even as strong as Man City have been over the years, and it's a credit to what we were able to achieve. We were that close.
That's the reason why Arteta said to everybody, I need your hunger. Don't settle for nothing less. Don't settle for second place. That is what your manager's telling you. Your manager's saying, what we did, we broke records. We broke records everywhere, left, right, and center. Yeah, we had the best defense. We did everything right and still lost. And so the manager said, don't rest on your laurels. Bring that same hunger and energy, and we go again to try and win it next year. Because if anyone knows how hard it is to go against Pep, it's Mikel. Yeah. Cam says points won't help us. No, they point. You know what? Look what happened to Rangers. Look what happened to Juventus. There was no points. They just said, you're gone, you're out. Drop to the next league. Drop to the bottom league. You're out of this league. Relegation. That for me is what they need to do to Man City. Man City have just got far. Let them bring their case, but the nerve of it to try and pull one on the FA's eyes. That's like, you know what that's like? That's like a burglar breaking into your home, stealing something, walking into the police station with it and saying, because you lot never did your job, I'm taking this police station to court. That's what Man City. Man City is basically saying, we've burgled a house. Here's your jewelry and your diamonds. Thrown them on the police station table and said, because you lot never stopped me from doing this, I'm taking you to court. That's basically what Man City are doing to the FA. And it's absolute nonsense. I've never seen it before in my life. Imagine you walk into school or college or university and you say to your teacher, I'm taking you to court because of whatever reason. Yeah, I know better than you, so I'm taking you to court.
Oh, Denmark through. What a tackle, Mark Gay. Unbelievable tackle.
Mark Gay is the real deal right now.
This guy, he gives the ball away, trying to cut inside the thing, and he leaves the tackle streaming into the box. But recovery pace, and watch this tackle.
Yeah, great.
Brilliant.
Look at Gay, his recovery, man. Oh, that's just brilliant.
Christensen, if he had a foot.
Victor says, Apollo, there are coaches like Thiago Motta, which is the Juventus guy. But what's he won?
Oh my gosh. Denmark.
Yeah.
Holberg, come on, you had 2 in the match.
I'd have to say to myself, what's he won?
Sloppy England. Absolutely sloppy.
But I do like the way he plays offensively, though. I do like his offensive, the way he's got high movement without the ball. It's a little reminiscence of Arteta, really. Denmark are in the game right now, man.
The England are sloppy, giving the ball away in some dangerous situations. Yeah. It's like they've almost never tried to play football before sometimes. It's crazy.
But guys, correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't Thiago Motta, wasn't he one of the ones that was saying he wouldn't manage in the Premier League?
Wasn't he what, sorry?
Wasn't he one of the managers that, so in April, it was, there was clubs like Chelsea was after him. Because there was talks of Chelsea, Man United. Paulo, you're making it sound as if Pep scored to make us. No, Pep is the best manager out there. He's won 6 out of the last 7 titles. And the manager that beat Pep literally had to retire and put his socks up. Literally said, I've had enough. Mental health, all that stuff. That's if you look at Klopp, that's what beating Pep Guardiola has done to the man. It stripped him. It's absolutely stripped. He looked like a shadow of himself.
And not only that, Apollo, he's also got Arteta to deal with now. So it's not just Pep. He's trying to also get the better of Arteta as well. So it's now 2 for the price of 1 kind of thing.
Yeah. Klopp shows you what happens when someone's actually defeated. Those guys, Victor, hear the joke, Victor. Those guys at Liverpool, they had 97 points and still lost a title. Are you kidding me?
It's crazy, isn't it?
Are you kidding me? And we're here talking about, if Teta doesn't win the next season. Come on, man. Let's live in the real world. Yeah, there's only one team winning the league right now, and that is City. And we lost Fulham, Aston Villa. Yeah, but teams do that though. They lose games, right? And that was in our control. So that's on us. We have to look at that, and that's on us. But when you look at the Newcastle VAR decision, that's what lost Arsenal the Premier League. That decision right there. Because you know why? Because that wasn't in our control. Everything else and all the losses you mentioned were in our control. We put our hand up. That's on us. We'll take full responsibility. But when the Newcastle result happened like that, which was completely out of our control, yeah, no way we should have dropped 2 points in that game. For me, it's on that game.
I don't think we did enough to even win it.
No, we didn't. But that's what I'm saying. We didn't.
So you can't say we did enough. Newcastle had the better chances to even score.
Yeah, but the game could have ended 0-0. The game would have ended 0-0 had that goal not been given.
Nobody deserved to. Newcastle didn't play well enough to win. We didn't. The game should have been 0-0. We should have walked away with a point. Yeah, it's that. That's for me. That we weren't in control of that. That was just pure foolishness. So I own all the other stuff and the losses. I own that. But that Newcastle game was ridiculous.
Me personally, I think last year was more criminal than us losing the position that we were in the year before. And if you think about how we were in the position the year before, to lose it by a point and the games that we lost and got draws, you can't. I've always said this. If you say in August and September that you can't afford to take any game for granted, and people say, well, you know what, there's plenty of games left in the season. Last season is a perfect example. We lost by a point. Okay, there's no room for error. So there's no room for error in August. There's no room for error in September. You're going up against a juggernaut. You know what you're going up against. We got no room for it. And I don't think Arsenal mentally are at that races. And I don't think some of our fans are there to actually require that, you know what, we need to up our game. It ain't good enough. And I think last season has shown that early in the season, when we were saying things, people were saying, you know what, there's games. Those are the games that come back and haunt you when you lose by 1 point at the end of the season.
Yeah, and there's fine lines, isn't it, guys? The lines are just too fine. And remember, guys, on Christmas, 2 days before Christmas Day, we were top of the league. And then we had the West Ham Fulham result. And then in the new year, guess what? We only dropped 5 points in the entirety of 2024. 5 points.
And then how many times were we at top of the league in that space of time? It wasn't that much, was it?
No, it wasn't that much. But that's how competitive it was.
And that's to show you what the difference it's taken. You played better the second half of the season, and you still couldn't bridge the gap.
Yeah, we got stronger. The season before, we fell apart because of the lack of squad. This season, we got stronger as the season went on.
And still couldn't do it.
Yeah,
it's a tough one for them to take. Tough.
Yeah. It's a tough one, that is, man. Victor says, Victor's like a dog with a bone. He's not letting the Arteta thing go. And look, I respect your opinion, bro. If you think Arteta should be sacked, then I respect your opinion, bro. It's not what I agree, but I respect your opinion. He says, Arteta, new contract makes him the second highest paid manager in the league. Yeah, you do know he won that Best Manager in Europe award last month. Yep, he cleaned up on that one. Makes him the second highest paid manager in the league. At what point should we sack him?
Never.
If you're finishing in 8th and 7th and 6th, then you're if you're going backward, then you probably should be sacked.
I'm going to go with that.
He's improved this team incrementally year on year. We've had more points, scored more goals. Defense has got better every year. You don't sack a manager for those kind of. You just don't. Like no one does.
Yeah, I agree.
And the thing is, it's like nobody knows. Nobody can answer the question. If you sack Arteta, who are you going to replace him with?
I'll go out on a limb. If we fail to win the Emirates Cup, I'm not talking about the FA Cup. I'm talking about the Emirates Cup. Yeah, you've got to go. You've got to go.
Fight.
If you have not got a plan in pre-season, you've got to go.
Yeah, but do you really care about the Emirates Cup, Vincey?
It's if we can't win our home cup, yeah, we can't score enough goals in the home tournament pre-season. We got something wrong.
Guys, Arsenal are cooking right now, man.
Thank God there's only 30 seconds left of this England match.
You can make about 7,000 subs, Ebony, in that.
I've been to a couple of tournaments.
You know what I mean?
where we've actually won it.
You can bring someone from the crowd in.
You know.
You can even bring me onto the pitch.
No, you're always at work, Ebony. we'll bring the game to you.
Oh dear.
But it is a nice tournament pre-season to get that excitement for the season. You know, I mean, when you can win a home tournament, just like the Community Shield, it is nice to win it if you're in it.
Yeah,
Yes, it is. It's nice to see. It's nice to see the Euros back. I haven't watched as much games as I've wanted to,
and that's full time, guys.
Yep, that's full time. I think for me, guys, I probably watch more games as the tournament goes on. I'm finding the group stages quite boring, if I'm honest.
I'm finding England quite boring. I think all the other games have been really exciting. The two England games have been the worst two games I've seen, I think.
Right. Slovenia versus Serbia. What's the scoreline there? Anybody? Let me just go off and have a look.
Gary, did the kids get the Panini album?
That was 1-1.
Nah, they don't bother with that.
That was
1-1, didn't it? Yeah, it finished 1-1. So that means England's still top in the group. Is that right?
Yeah, 4 points. Yeah.
Yeah, England's still top in the group
with Slovenia to play.
So, guys, look, guys, I'm not even going to do player ratings like I did in the last game because that was awful. At least in the last game, we played well in the first half. This game, we didn't play. You know. Yeah,
it's almost like England was scared of Denmark.
Yeah. Victor says Bayer sacked their manager and he was against the best coach. Yeah, and look who they employed, a guy who got relegated. Come on, man, we're gonna keep doing this, Victor, man. Come on. Chelsea's taken a guy from the Championship. Bayern Munich has employed a Championship manager who got sacked and relegated in the Premier League. I mean, is that where we are right now, guys? Do we want Arsenal to bring in managers that are getting relegated? I mean, what are we doing, guys? Come on, what's the conversation we're having? Please let me know. Vincey, Gary, Ebony, Emerson, help me out here, man.
I just wonder. I mean, I could play devil's advocate and say, okay, you know what? Arteta could turn and decide to go to Barcelona. Barcelona could give him the loads of money, go to Barcelona, and all of our love affair and wanting Arteta to stay, he decides to leave. So entertain the idea that, you know, could it possibly be that another former Arsenal great comes back and takes over from Arteta? Say, for instance, Vieira. We're not going on his record, but would Arsenal fans fall in love with Vieira if he was able to take Arteta's team further than what Arteta would? Because it's not about who would come in and take it. If Arteta goes, he goes. Yeah. So it's a case of somebody has to come in. It's whether or not, you know, all right, there's a lot of love for Arteta, but would you show that love to an ex-Arsenal great if he came back as a manager in Vieira?
If he done the business, yeah, of course you would.
Yeah, because you know what it is, right, guys? Managing a football club is an extremely difficult and lonely job. It's you're getting crap from the fans, crap from your players, and crap from your owners, and you're in this kind of energy, negative energy, which you just cannot get out of it, and it's an incredibly difficult position to be in, and yet somehow some people thrive in that scenario, and Arteta seems to be one of them, and he's got control of so much that's going right with the club. And I think sometimes when people talk about a new manager and things like that, and you've seen what's happened with Spurs, you've seen what happened with Chelsea and some of our rivals, and they've had plenty of new managers over the years. Have they got any better?
Right, guys, I've got sorry to, I've got to shoot off. I've got to go and drop my mum home.
No problem, mate. We're not staying on here for long anyway, so we're just sort of
That's all right.
continuing the discussion. Yeah, so I think
I'll
what
see you
it
soon.
is, yeah, no problem, mate. Thanks a lot, Gary. There's just so much that goes into footballing, and that's what I'm talking about in terms of the understanding, the synergy with different departments, the youth academy, the ownership, the merchandise, the money you bring in, the players' well-being. You know, when Arteta wasn't here, there was a number of players who were unhappy with the club, homesick, and all this stuff. Arteta's got the players in a position where mentally they are all doing well, and we know the issues Smith Rowe was suffering with, Pepe, and other players previously. He's got rid of all the bad eggs, so the culture is good, it's thriving. The players who are here love playing for Arsenal. And that's an extremely difficult place to be in. So it's not just easy to say change a manager, because in order for someone to come in here, get that right, get the fans on their side, get people through the front door, win football games, take care of everybody's well-being, get into the Champions League spot, and then challenge Pep Guardiola. That's a huge task. It's not just about winning games. It really isn't. I mean, we've seen videos, and you look at what happened with Chelsea and Pochettino. Look what happened when Conte was at Spurs. Look at Mourinho on All or Nothing with Spurs. And players hated his guts. They couldn't stand him. And so many of these teams are fractured behind the scenes that even when the results are going well, like, it's a sinking ship. So sports management is not as easy as just saying changing the manager. Well, what they done with Arsenal, they gutted the whole thing. Gutted it. Scouting, the medical team, the coaching staff, trainers, youth system change, everything from the ground up. Stan Kroenke here said, I'm done. I'm giving Josh, it's Josh's team now. Technical director Edu came in. It's a complete change of philosophy from the ground up. That's why Arsenal are doing well at the moment. That's not an easy thing to do for any of our rivals. Look at what's going on. Chelsea, new owner, billions spent. And are they any better off? Are they going to win the league next season? It's a tough thing to do. And even with all that done well at Arsenal, we've still fallen short. So we got to be, sometimes, you know, I say this all the time, guys, we got to be careful what we wish for, because you just might get it. And if you do, you can't argue with the result, man. You can't say people didn't warn you. Yeah. Kyle Walker's speaking now, and quite frankly, I've got no interest in what he's saying, because no one's got enough words to sum up that that display. Vincey, what's your thoughts?
This is why I don't like watching England, and this is why I'm a huge Italian fan. I just don't. 90 minutes of watching England football, I just don't do. I don't learn anything from their football. But saying that, it is nice to see that they're on top, playing bad, and they can only get better. And as Paula says earlier on, they've got a hugely talented squad, and it will just be nice to see them win a major event the way how the ladies won it, the Lionesses won it, playing good football. And that's what I've wanted to see all my life, because they deserve it. You know, when I say they deserve it, this country deserves it for the way how we are all passionate about this game. It's so frustrating watching them do it, though. The amount of money in this league, we should be able to go into these tournaments playing better football, and that's just a big frustration. You know, I mean, I've got grey hair, and this ain't no young grey hair. Yeah, so I've seen a lot of football, and it's just painful that I wasn't there in '66, but it's just painful that I'm still waiting for them to do and play football the way it should be, and I don't understand. It's just frustrating.
Yeah. What about you, Emerson?
Well, I agree with all the points that you've been saying as well. I agree. Being like that, just nothing has changed regarding English football as well. As I said, sometimes they could be good 1 minute, poor the next. So that's what expected, because all these pundits that you can see, like Gary Lineker speaking to Alan Shearer, are magic. I don't got my phone turned down. I can't hear what Alan Shearer's saying, but I got a feeling that he's saying it's been poor because everybody was saying that having Trent Alexander in midfield could be our Achilles heel, thing like that. And what you said earlier in the first half, you would like to see either that young kid coming from Man United or Gallagher, but Gallagher got a yellow card, so they had to keep him on regardless. If he got a second yellow, so be it. But thing is, but what changes he will make for the game against Slovenia on Tuesday, we'll just have to wait and see, because I imagine he will rest one or two players. He knows if they get a draw, they're through to the next phase of the competition. Well, as I said, it's a tough tournament to win this European Championship as well, because England might have got to the final a few years back against Italy, of which I was there working at the final itself. So I saw it at that level, thing like that. And then they wasn't successful a few years later in the World Cup, thing like that. So the next, because if they don't win this one, then they've got the World Cup in America as well, and America, I think, and Mexico. I think it's the next World Cup. But as I said, most of the players that will play there should play for England more at that time. The rest of the older players, anyone who's over like 33 plus, might not even get a game for England again. Harry Kane, obviously, he's got another tournament in him, so I got a feeling he will play the World Cup and then we're going to call it a day after that, because I got a feeling this Euros one is going to be his last one. And then he'll call it a day after that. He'll call it like that. But as I said, he'll play in the World Cup, then call it a day. Whether England win it or not, he'll just call it a day and then concentrate on his playing career till he's ready to go. Then he'll call it quits after his Bayern Munich contract, because I don't think he'll come back to the Premiership and play for any Premiership team. So it's the thing. It's frustrating to watch England play sometimes as well, because as I said, they've got in some good positions, but as I said, like that. But this just can't think. This too naive as well, because some players are greedy when they're on the ball, everything like that, and others will do whatever they want to do. So that's basically it. That's all I can say about England.
Emerson, you make a good point about English players being greedy. What do you think that is? Because for their clubs, they probably wouldn't do that. Is it
exactly? Because when at international level, it's different, as we know, from club level, like that. So you get some players who might do it in the Premiership, but as I said, the top players won't, like that. So it's just frustrating to watch. It's just frustrating to watch. Because I came home after my treatment.
I think there's with the club football. I made a point when we were talking about the intensity of the game, and that's one of the things that is really killing this team. And when you play for your club team, you're expected to, as a standard, commit yourself to the press and the urgency of playing on the front line and pressing. That's just disappeared. I pointed a couple of times where Foden and Saka looked like they were ready to go, and Kane's just strolling around doing nothing. And you can't, that just cuts the whole thing. That cuts the head off the snake, because Foden and Saka then have to play in a very passive style, which is not how they play. Pep Guardiola and Arteta does not coach you to play that way. So straight away, Foden and Saka are not in their element. They're not thriving in this team. They're being wasted. But that dynamic changes if you bring on Ollie Watkins, who is told to play that way from Unai Emery. So it's a very strange dynamic, and we're talking now about dropping Harry Kane and all these different things. But who cares? If you want to win the tournament, you're going to have to make some hard decisions. And quite frankly, we've seen over the decades, this England team doesn't do that. They go with the old heads for experience and go nowhere. While many of the other, we see the Brazilians come out with, there's a new 18-year-old superstar. Or we see the Italians come up with these, these unbelievable midfielders out of nowhere who are young, strong, big, and just dominate games. And then we've seen the Germans pull up these skillful players out of nowhere. Spain, who is the youngest international team, look where they finished in the World Cup. So it's just we're not blooding our players in. They're on the bench. We left a lot of guys at home who weren't doing it. It's Rashford, Grealish, and all them guys there. And then we brought some firecrackers in who turn heads, and they're all sitting on the bench. They're not influencing this tournament at all. Why? Because Southgate's going with tried and untested. Yeah. And let me get Ebony's thoughts before we open up.
Very quickly, look, at the end of the day, Gareth Southgate has his favourite players. I've said this so many times. He's not dropping any of them. He won't not start Kane. He won't not start Foden. He won't not start, what's his name? Pickford. So he's got his favourite players, and he's not going to drop them anytime soon. If he's really that serious, he needs to be starting some of the newer players, the players that can cause an effect from the first minute. And we've seen this so many times. If you go and over the years, it's managers have actually done this. They've gone with their favorite players because they think that their favorite players are going to make a difference. And each tournament, England get to like the semi-finals because it gets to a point where they start getting lackadaisical, they start getting sloppy. I mean, today I only caught the second half, and England was sloppy. Like Denmark could have scored twice by the time I started watching. That's how sloppy England were, especially in that danger area. So, but like I said, if you go back over the years when we had this golden era with the likes of Beckham, Gerrard, Lampard, and what do they win? They didn't win anything. So, I'm not an England fan, as you know. I can't support the England team. You already know why I can't support the England team, and I'm not going to change my mind. So, if he was going to if Southgate was going to stick with his favourite players, he may as well have bought Grealish, Rashford, Sterling, and Maddison. So the fact that he's doing the same thing but with different players is no surprise. And England fans need to be realistic. They need to understand that is the manager that they have. Who would you get to replace him? I don't know, but that's the reality of Gareth Southgate. So, but if England get knocked out in the semi-finals, don't be too surprised.
Yeah,
because Southgate's too stubborn.
A big shout out to Glenn Wynn. He says Southgate would be our downfall because he does not have the balls to drop his favourites, playing Trent instead of Gallagher. I mean, look, and I talked about that. It's earlier on. It's not always about the players and that's why I'm bringing this sheet up. Now, if you followed my coverage today, you would have heard me say one thing. Yeah, Trent is the player a lot of people are saying shouldn't be in the team. It's not about that. It's the way you set a team up. That's where Southgate's going wrong. This guy, who everybody's saying shouldn't be playing, has been the team's most creative player. So it doesn't make sense to drop him, right? So what I talked about when me, Vincey, and Gary and Emerson was talking formations, England need to be in a 3-4-3 formation. Do you guys remember when Arsenal was playing that formation when Arteta first arrived? And they were rolling teams over. Beat City, beat Liverpool, beat Chelsea, ended up winning the FA Cup. How did they do it? They played 4-man in the midfield. They had Maitland-Niles and Reece Nelson. dominating in the midfield. Dominating in the midfield. Yeah. And I think that if you're going to play a Trippier or a Trent, you play with a 4-man midfield. That's what you do. You use their ability to transition and create. And at the same time, when they don't have the ball, you switch and create overloads so that you help people like Declan Rice. That's how the game's played on a technical level. You analyze, and then, but this guy, Southgate, doesn't seem to be able to understand that. I'm not a football manager. Yeah. I'm just in the techniques. You guys know I'm just analytical. Yeah. And I was like that when I played, and I'm like that when I don't play. And when you see how he's playing it so safe, that tells me that he doesn't have the grunt and he doesn't have the fire as a manager. Because when you look at the Klopps, the Artetas, the Pep Guardiolas, those guys have got fire. They infuse passion and urgency into their players. And if you don't show that ability, you ain't getting on the pitch. And what we're seeing today, guys, is a team in England that is lethargic, they're slow, they're lacking any sorts of quality on or off the ball. And that's down to the manager. Yeah, that's down to the manager.
I think also England, when they come into these stages in these tournaments, they play for the points. So they don't play for the win. They play for the position to maintain themselves. So right now they're top of the group, knowing that actually they stand a very good chance of going through, as opposed to playing the game to get into form. So you would think actually you're not going to go throughout the tournament, your performances are going to increase as a team collectively. We just plodding along, getting the points. Okay, so what do we need to get through to the next round? Okay, so if it's a case where we don't lose it, he's going to go to penalties. How many games do England go out of tournaments at this level at penalties? That's showing to you that they're not dominating games. They're not playing to their strengths as a team is in a system where they're growing together. And I just think sometimes, I do think there is a pressure wearing this shirt that you're seeing players that when they turn up for England, they're not playing their natural game. And I think it's frustrating for fans to see, because we know all those players that we saw today can perform better in their position. But something happens when they put the England shirt on that it saps something from them, that they're just not playing the way we know they can play.
Yeah, Gunnar at 75 says Trent Alexander is better as an offensive player. He cannot defend. Agreed, and that's why he needs to be in a 4-man midfield. Gunnar Mata says, does Southgate have a specific style of play? Trent flourished on the right-hand side. Yeah, he does. He has a very defensive, passive style. We were talking about it earlier on. He likes to set his teams up to be defensive. And let's give him credit for that, because you're talking about a guy in the last Euros who set a record with 6 clean sheets. Yeah. So when it works really well. But winning games is more than, yes, you have got to play great defense. We know that. But on the other end, you need to score goals. So there's a balance between the two, which he's never really got right. But give him credit where credit's due. Southgate does know how to set a team up to defend. And that's the reason why he went into a major tournament, got to the final, probably should have won it, although Vince will probably say no. But then they stopped 6 teams from scoring against them, which never. It's never happened. No team in history has ever gone to a tournament and got 6 clean sheets. So and they had Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice in the midfield there. Imagine that. Declan Rice was 21 years old. Cam says, breaking news, it ain't coming home. Goodman says again, if you want to play Trent, you got to give him the freedom. Yeah, and that's why I'm saying play him in the midfield. I don't understand why these managers don't get it. Look where Zinchenko plays when he plays for Arsenal. 80% of his possession is where? Not playing left back, is playing in the midfield. So when you got a plan like that, use it. overloads, inverted, do whatever you need to do, but make the system work for the players. What we've got here at England is something that is just not working for the players. Gunnar says, with that, Apollo, last Euros, we had 2 good cams. Yeah, he did. Phillips went to Man City and just killed his career, which is what happened to Ian Wright's son, Sean Wright Phillips, when he went to Chelsea. It's just some moves are never meant to be made, my friend. Right, guys, closing statements. Let's wrap this one up. Vincey, what's your thoughts about today?
It's just good to be back with the family, just talking football. Yeah, man, I can't. England just got the result. They got the point. We move on. Just hope you all just stay safe, stay blessed, enjoy the sunny weather. And it should be a cracking game. Italy v Spain next up.
Yeah, coming up tonight. Emerson, what's your thoughts? Emerson, you know what? They've not played well. They're top of the group. It's not going too badly, is it?
I agree with that thing, but as I said, they need to step up on their next game against Slovenia, because they won't be no slouches neither. So all I can say is it's good to have me back on again. As I said, it's good that we're talking about international football instead of domestic football. But another thing that I wanted to say is, don't forget, 13th of July, if you're still all available, the Arsenal Bournemouth versus Arsenal pre-season match. I've already got my ticket ready. I'm not sure about you guys, whether you got your tickets or not, but I've already got mine ready on the 13th of July. The under-21s match. That's the first pre. That's right.
Yeah.
It's a Saturday 3 o'clock kickoff.
Right, excellent. So I'll definitely be able. That's at Boreham Wood, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a 3 o'clock kickoff.
Yeah,
so, as I said, it's going to be a mixture of the under 18s, under 21s, or any bursting players that is available to play as their final swan song.
Yeah, I'll be in there. Ebony, what's your thoughts about today?
Like I said, I only caught the second half. If they continue with this, let's just relax, because we're playing for a draw or we're 1-0 up and we've got 20 minutes to go. Nonsense. Then they're going to end up losing, and Slovenia are no walkover. Yes, I think they drew against Denmark. However, they're not a pushover. So like I said, I'm not an England fan, but if they want to be taken seriously in this competition, which, to be fair, they are top of the group, and they've won 1, drawn 1. So, but if they want to be taken seriously, because everybody's watching each other, everybody's watching England, this super duper team, this for me the most overrated international team in the world as far as I'm concerned. Fight me on that one, but yeah, and I will be there, Emerson. I'll be there.
So, guys, next up, we've got the game on Tuesday, England versus Slovenia. So we'll be back with you on that. We're going to, if God willing, Vincey, Tony and Gary, we're going to try and look at some other matchups to see if we've got the time to fit some more in. For those of you like myself who follow Jamaica, Jamaica's got a tough game on Sunday against Mexico. It's a huge game. Then we've got Ecuador on Wednesday. Remember, it's a World Cup qualifiers for Jamaica. And then on the 1st of July, we got Venezuela. And then we've got Cuba all the way in September. But for now, we've got the Mexico, Ecuador, and Jamaica games coming up. So I'll most likely on Sunday, that's at 2 o'clock in the morning though, so that's a bit late. So if I'm still up, I'm going to join Bertram on his new channel. If you guys are not on that channel, not subscribed, it's called Cranky Live. So subscribe to that channel. Bertram covers all kinds of sports, mainly Jamaican stuff, Olympics, track, cricket, and the Reggae Boys football. So, and then he'll talk a little bit of Arsenal as well. So guys, listen, that's it from us. Speak to you guys later, man. Peace out, everybody. Speak to you next time. Nice one, guys.
Take care.